The bathroom featured a simple bathtub and a toilet. Honestly, I would have liked to take a long, luxurious soak, but I was in no position to complain. Additionally, there were no windows, just a small ventilation fan. No getting out through here, I take it. With that confirmed, I shut the door behind me and stripped off my dress. Since Gretel had removed my corset and unzipped the zipper, it slid off easily. I folded it up, then turned the bathtub faucet until warm water steamed out of the shower head. But just as I heaved a sigh of relief, dash dash. Don't like the dash dash.
Sister?
Ah! A sudden voice on the other side of the door made me yelp.
Is something wrong? I'm coming in.
No, it's nothing! Don't you dare come in here! I turned the water off and concealed myself behind the curtain.
All right, then. Oh, but this presents a problem. You see, I forgot to give you a towel and a change of clothes.
I forgot about it too, actually. Unfortunately, I got the sense that this wasn't exactly an accidental oversight coming from him. Timidly, I asked him, "Did you do this to me on purpose?"
Yup.
I barely suppressed the urge to punch the wall. Just leave them there!
There where? On the bed?
Chigao, chigao, chigao! Itakata no wa... leave them near the door!
The front door?
You suck. You made her so upset she started speaking Japanese, Gretel. The bathroom door! I could hear him laughing out there, and although I couldn't see him, I just knew he was clutching his sides again.
Got it. I'll leave them nearby.
I pressed my ear to the door and waited for Gretel to move away. Then I slowly opened the door and reached out through the crack, fumbling around for the towel and change of clothes. I still had the shower curtain pressed to my chest, but it could only stretch so far, and if he opened the door any wider, I was screwed. I'd probably lose my balance and fall to the floor, butt naked. That would be one hell of a surprise for him. Aha! Found it! My brother loved his pranks, but he would never be outright cruel to me, she says. As proof of that, I found the stack of fabric without much trouble. I'm still suspicious. I'm suspicious he gave us his clothes. I yanked it back into the bathroom with me and let out a sigh of relief. But little did I know, 30 or so minutes from now, I'd be sighing for a different reason. That's ominous.
Ah, welcome back, sister.
When I returned from the bathroom, Gretel took one look at me and burst out laughing. Rude. It's not like I chose to wear this, thank you very much. It was just the only option you gave me. Ugh. I should have known Gretel wouldn't get me a change of clothes without some kind of catch. Kitty punch! I punched him with my white fluffy fist. What are you wearing? My new outfit was, in a word, fuzzy. It featured a hood with pointed ears up top and a long tail down below. Okay. In other words, I was wearing a kitty onesie. Okay, that's not as bad as I was envisioning. I changed my mind. My brother is a cruel bastard.
Looks great on you. You're very cute. Downright adorable.
This was not all that convincing, coming from a guy currently trying not to laugh.
I almost went with a prison inmate costume, but I felt it was crossing the line. You may be my sister, but you're still technically a woman.
Kitty punch! I gave him another fuzzy punch. After all, he made me picture myself in that stripy getup, and I came away relieved to be wearing a onesie instead. No one should feel relieved to wear a onesie. It's mortifying, but oh so comfy. Not that I would have preferred a see-through nightie either, right?
Oh, were you hoping for a pastel pink nightie or something?
Double kitty punch! This time I hit him twice.
It's not so bad, don't you think? At least this way I don't have to go out of my way to tie you up.
On second thought, all hail the onesie! But I didn't let it show on my face. Instead, I casually pulled the hood over my head, like Red would do. So you went out of your way to buy this?
Oh, yes. I'll spend whatever time, effort, or money it takes to bully you.
You monster! I see. Well, I must say, I'm impressed you got me new underwear, too. You must be pretty brave if you can walk up to the register with a pair of women's panties.
It was no trouble at all. I chose the classic black-pink lace combo in hopes you might actually improve your sex appeal, so I'm glad you like them.
Damn it! You countered my sarcasm with more sarcasm! Defeated, I slumped my shoulders. Then another question occurred to me. Wait, what do I do with my dirty clothes?
I'll wash them.
Oh, okay. I nodded. At this, Gretel's eyes widened in surprise. He'd already stripped me down and made me wear the clothes and panties of his choosing, so I had no shame left. I mean, that's fair. Or did I? Actually, on second thought, I'll wash them myself. I darted back into the bathroom and grabbed my dirty laundry.
What's there to be embarrassed about? I'm quite used to seeing your panties by now.
You might be used to it, but I'm not! I clutched my clothes to my chest. Do we even have a washing machine here?
It's outside.
Oh, of course. But then I realized, if I was forbidden from ever setting foot outside, then he was never going to let me do my own laundry. Hiya! I chucked my laundry into the bathtub and turned on the water. Forget the washing machine. I could just wash them by hand.
Smart thinking.
I chuckled smugly. Then the smile vanished from my face as I asked, "Can I have some detergent?" Well, he got us some detergent. After I finished washing my clothes, I walked over to the window and opened the curtains. There was no clock in this cabin, so the only way to gauge the time of day was by looking out the window. Best I could tell, it was late at night. But the surrounding dense forest was already shadowy to begin with, so I could only get a vague estimate of the time. Thus, I decided to ask someone who might have a better idea. Hey, what time is it?
No idea.
He shrugged his shoulders. Evidently, he didn't care. Well, seeing as I'm tired, maybe it's bedtime? As I closed the curtains, Gretel paused to think.
Good call. I'm tired too.
And that was that. I'm glad we've got an accord. Well, yeah, I got, bleh. I'm just gonna keep going. So there I was, lying in bed with my brother in a dark cabin. Gretel had his arms and legs wrapped tightly around me, locking me in place. Was this his way of telling me that he had no intention of ever letting me go, whether he was awake or not? Or was he just using me as a soft, fuzzy pillow? How did we even end up in this position, you ask? Well, the root problem was that there was only one bed in the cabin. Designed that way. Gretel? His eyes were firmly closed and his breathing was rhythmic, which suggested he was asleep. Then again, knowing this little prankster, it was possible he was simply waiting for me to lower my guard so he could go boo! I kept watch over him for a while, but he showed no signs of stirring. With a sigh of relief, I let my gaze wander more closely over his face. With his eyes and mouth closed, my younger brother was actually quite... Out of nowhere, my stomach growled loudly, breaking the silence. Quietly, I cursed myself for not eating more of Gretel's omelet while I had the chance. Sure, he was a bit of a brat, but he fed me, clothed me, and kept me locked up. I'm like, and? Ultimately, I still had no idea why he had me imprisoned here. All I could tell was that he had good intentions. Well, you know what they say about the road to hell. It's paved with good intentions. As a result, I wasn't afraid of him, and I still loved him. But nevertheless, these circumstances... My stomach growled again. No amount of sentimentality would pause my bodily functions. Gretel shifted against me ever so slightly. Gretel? You're awake? Hello.
I suppose so.
I knew it.
I take it you're hungry, sister.
Meow, meow, meow. No idea what you're talking about.
Want me to make you something?
No, that's okay.
It wouldn't be a hassle, you know.
Hassle or not, I didn't feel right eating a midnight snack, much less asking him to make it for me. Besides, I was the one who couldn't finish my food earlier. But as I thought back to dinner time, something else occurred to me. What about you, Gretel? You didn't eat dinner at all. Aren't you hungry?
Oh, don't worry. I'm not a total glutton like you are.
Kitty punch! This time I hit him in the solar plexus, at point-blank range. Oh no! I'm so sorry! He glared back at me, tears welling in his eyes. It's deserved.
Sister!
Ow, 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 ow! As revenge, he clamped down on me like a vice until I smacked his leg to tap out. Once he loosened his grip, I immediately gasped for breath. Do you think maybe you could go easy on me from now on?
What are you talking about? I'm already quite lenient with you, in my opinion.
I mean, your idea of lenient is rather...
Rather what? If you don't want me to coddle you, then so be it. I'll be much stricter with you from now on.
No, I said... weather, feather, forever!
You're not even trying anymore, are you? Well, whatever. Forever sounds nice. Yes, I'll never let go of you, sister.
When will I be free? It was a total nonsense conversation. I'm glad we're at least aware of this. Evidently, Gretel was of the same opinion, because when our eyes met, we both burst out laughing, because we're both crazy people. Times like these, it felt like nothing had changed between us at all. Like nothing had changed. Biting back a sigh, I nuzzled myself into his chest. Then I closed my eyes and plummeted into the darkness. Let it swallow you whole. Please. How did the rest of the world view our brother-sister connection?
We're going to be late, sister.
Hold on a minute, I'm almost done. One fine morning, Gretel was breathing down my neck while I was boxing up our lunches. There, done! A perfect lunch, if I do say so myself. Here you go. I handed one of the lunch boxes to Gretel.
Thank you.
Then he looked at the other three sitting on the table.
Must take a lot of hard work to make all these.
As if you don't work hard yourself.
Trust me, I don't.
His lips curled in a playful smirk, but I knew the truth. I knew he had packed my book bag for me.
I'll carry them for you part of the way.
And he always offered to carry my things. Aw, thank you. Giddy, I nuzzled myself against his arm.
You're going to make me drop them.
No, don't! Together, the two of us walked to school. Our town was a relatively famous tourist trap rich in natural beauty, like the forest and the lake. Near the lake was a large cluster of summer homes. Main Street was a classy part of town, home to a lot of historical buildings and museums, not to mention souvenir shops and cafes targeting the tourists. That said, it was still a rural town, so it lacked the many attractions and modern conveniences of a more urban city. But as long as I had Gretel, I didn't need anything more. Oh yeah, so how's school? The question came to mind on a whim, so I voiced it.
I don't know. It is what it is.
What does that mean?
Well, things are uneventful. No issues of particular note. What about you, sister?
Me? Oh, you mean college? How's college?
It is what it is.
I mean, I don't know if this really matters, but our girl's the type to have fun, so it's fun.
Not that I was expecting an airhead like you to have any troubles.
Rolling his eyes, he shook his head. Well, sorry. Rude. I have worries of my own, you know.
Such as?
I paused for a moment, then answered. Trying to figure out what my worries are.
That doesn't count. Look, there's nothing wrong with having zero problems. Absurdly inhuman, yes, but not out of character for you.
See? It's in character. I'm not sure I like the way you put that.
It's not your imagination playing tricks on you. I am implying you're a freak of nature.
Implying? You just said it flat out. As we approached Gretel's community college, the streets grew more populated with other students. Additionally, those students seemed to be sneaking furtive glances at us. No, not seemed to be. They definitely were. But this happened every time, so I was used to it.
You always draw so much attention to yourself.
Because I'm so beautiful, you mean? I'd meant it as a joke, but Gretel fixed me with an icy stare. Then he let out a huge, exaggerated yawn.
Obviously, they're going to stare. They can tell you don't go to our school.
I don't really mind it personally. What about you?
Who, me? Well...
But just then... Is that my boy Wolf? Sup, guys? Whoa! A loud voice called out to us from behind. Hey! Oh, hey, I like the new hoodie. There's my boy. Let me check out your new hoodie. It's so cute. I like it. I like it. So, how's, my other brother that's not my brother anymore, I guess? Is he still around? Alright. I wasn't expecting to actually see Wolf again, but I'm okay with it. I turned to find a guy wearing thick black-rimmed glasses, a wolf ear hoodie, and a big toothy grin. My, what big teeth you have. Not to diss his style or anything, because he was rocking it, but where on earth did he get that weird hoodie? Oh yeah, I guess it's a hoodie and not a riding hood. I didn't pick that up before. Good morning, Wolf. Morning, Arisu! And Gretel, I guess.
Did you just refer to me like an afterthought?
Of course not! You're overthinking things, Grumpy! He clapped Gretel on the back. I think I see why our brother tried to protect us from this guy. In contrast to Wolf's high spirits, however, Gretel didn't even try to hide his displeasure.
How many times do I have to ask you not to call me that?
Come on, what do you care? Nicknames are how I show affection. What's there to complain about?
Not only is it cringy, it's also incredibly lazy.
How dare you! For the record, despite his boyish demeanor, Wolf was actually in college with me. Consequently, he tried to treat Gretel like a little brother, but watching their antics, one would think they were peers. Grumpy Gretel. It had alliterative appeal, and it was accurate.
You're making fun of me in your head, aren't you?
What? I flinched as he rounded on me next.
What are you even doing here, Wolf? You don't need to take this street to get from your house to the college.
Huh? Oh, well, Arisu told me she takes the long way around so she can walk you to school every day, so I thought I'd join.
Oh, really? How very interesting.
He turned and glared at me with a look that said, "Don't give this idiot information he doesn't need." I averted my gaze and he sighed.
I think this is far enough.
And with that, he stopped short and started to divvy up our belongings. Wait, what? But we're not at your school yet.
Why, pray tell, should I be forced to walk to school with my sister and her idiotic friend? Humiliating. Now here's your lunch.
Ooh, thanks a million! Wolf enthusiastically held out both hands. So we still make him lunch. With a cold, scornful glare, Gretel dropped the lunchbox on the ground. Rude! Gah! My lunch!
Oh no, I'm so sorry. My hand slipped.
Playing the role of a clumsy younger student, he donned a guilty expression. You liar! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Don't be silly. I would never do that to you.
Gretel smiled affably and patted Wolf on the back. I mean, he got him. It was very condescending. Not that I had any right to criticize him myself.
Here you are, sister.
Thanks. For a second there I was worried he dropped mine too, but evidently not. He handed me my things, then turned and started walking.
All right, see you after school.
Okay, I'll be waiting for you in the usual spot. I waved after him. Even after he stepped into the crowd of other students, I never lost sight of him, not once. Then I realized Wolf was looking at me. When I tilted my head at him inquiringly, he smiled stiffly. Are you really that protective of him? Yeah. Dude, you're like a helicopter mom. Is that a bad thing? Well, not necessarily, but you might want to think about his needs a little more. I fell silent for a moment, then asked, You don't think I'm considerate enough? Well, it's just... I mean, if you both went to the same school, that'd be one thing, but... So I should stop walking him to school for a while. Wolf heard my voice deflate and hastily changed tack. Okay, sorry. Look, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks, me included. What matters is how Grumpy feels. I just think you should try asking him sometime. Right. I didn't want to inconvenience him after all. I smiled slightly. Maybe you should avoid walking to school with me too. They might spread rumors. Bring it on, man! I welcome the rumor shenanigans. Aw, thanks, Wolf. No problemo. He was always a good friend to me. By the way... What's up? Wait! Could it be? Have you finally noticed what massive hotness I have? He keeps hoping. Oh, I've noticed something, all right. I glanced around. It felt like the people around us were snickering at us, or rather, at Wolf specifically. Well, what is it? What's the deal? He didn't seem to have noticed, however, so I gestured over his shoulder. My back? He reached behind him and retrieved a piece of paper that had been taped there. Oh, Gretel, when you patted his back, what did you tape? How did you have time to write that? The heck is this? Warning, I'm a stupid, horny wolf who preys on all the girls. Awoo! God damn it! That little bastard! Wolf turned to run after Gretel, but it was too late. He was already safely inside the school building. My little brother was a force to be reckoned with. When had he found the time to write that? And where did he get the tape? Right? So many questions. I'm impressed. Later that evening. As soon as I finished my classes for the day, I headed straight to Gretel's school. By now, classes had already ended for the day. I could spot students on the streets headed home. Arriving at the school gates, I walked over to a nearby pillar and leaned against it. I could hear the shouts of the sports teams and faint music from the brass band. Gretel was in his last year of community college, so he wasn't a part of any club. Thus, I could reliably expect him to leave campus relatively early. As the students passed through the gates, they all stared at the weird girl hanging around their school. That said, I was already on familiar terms with a lot of them, so I just smiled and waved. This was just another part of my daily routine. But that day, Gretel didn't turn up at his usual time. He's really late. I glanced over at the school entrance again and again. But all the clubless students had already left by now, so the doors weren't opening. One of the boys' sports teams waved at me as they jogged laps around campus. I shot them a supportive thumbs up. Good on you, girl. Minutes passed. 10, 20, 30. Then, as I started to contemplate what to make for dinner, a girl walked out through the gates, raised her hand to me in greeting, then hurried off. Do I know her? I waved back at her to be polite, but I didn't recognize her face. Puzzled, I tilted my head. But just then, a voice called out to me from behind.
Sorry for the wait, sister.
Instantly, my face brightened up at the familiar voice, but I restrained myself to a small smile as I turned back, my skirt fluttering with emotion. Hi, Gretel. Don't worry, I wasn't waiting long. I looked up at him, batting my lashes like a magazine model as I replied with the most cliché stock answer known to mankind.
Spare me the BS, would you? Let's just get going.
And he blew me off completely. Hey, wait! Why is he being so salty with me? Such salt from such a sweet boy. That reminds me, Wolf was really upset about what you did this morning. He was like, he ruined my hot guy rep, dude! I'll never forgive him for this! I did my best Wolf impression.
Spoken like a sore loser. How very fitting. If you ask me, I only wrote the facts.
I thought back to the contents of his message. Warning! I'm a stupid, horny wolf who preys on all the girls. Awoo! I mean, yeah, he is pretty horny. You're right.
See?
I was trying to stand up for him, but instead I ended up validating Gretel's insults. I can practically hear him shrieking, Dude, you're such a jerk! Sorry, Wolf.
Trust me, it's the least he deserves.
If his attitude toward me was salty, then his attitude toward Wolf was rock salty. As my heart quietly went out to Wolf, my eyes met Gretel's. Then he came to a stop, so I followed suit. What's up? The setting sun illuminated his face, softening his expression. He seemed to have something on his mind. After a pause, he opened his mouth to speak. Ooh.
I hate you, you ditzy dumbass!
What? I was caught completely off guard, so much so that I misread that sentence. The look on his face was so serious, I never would have imagined he was about to insult me.
Oh, now I feel better.
He smiled as though a weight had been lifted from his shoulders, but I was still at a loss. Dude, you're such a jerk! Not funny, Gretel! On our way home, I tried to find out what it was that inspired him to call me a ditzy dumbass, but he stubbornly refused to tell me. The only other person who's called me a dumbass is Alice. Squint. Nande! We're home! Upon arriving home, I went straight to the kitchen and pulled on my apron. Closing my eyes, I took a deep breath. Ah! Then opened my eyes and slammed the rock salt as hard as I could. Phew. The pink crystal broke into small pieces. From there, I would grind it into a powder with a hammer. Yes, I was using rock salt as an ingredient in tonight's dinner. Why are you so violent with it? What was that all about anyway? I wasn't the kind of girl who got off on insults. Instead, I dug through the day's events to investigate the cause. As I recalled, we'd been discussing Wolf right beforehand. Could that have anything to do with it? And if so, was it purely because Gretel despised Wolf from the bottom of his heart? Or maybe he's totally jealous of him.
What are you smirking about?
Ah! Just then, the sudden voice behind me made me slam the rock salt in surprise.
Jesus! Be careful with that hammer, please! You'll hurt yourself!
Or maybe you could stop sneaking up on me like that!
Okay. Please, just put the hammer down, alright?
Recoiling, Gretel indicated the hammer I was holding aloft. Oh, right. Sorry. I snapped back to my senses and put the hammer on the counter. So, weren't you supposed to be studying?
I was going to, but then I randomly decided to come check on you instead.
Oh, you randomly decided. Just randomly. This is some Sixth Sense crap. Did you hear what I was saying?
Of course I did. You said he's totally jealous of him, correct?
What? No, I said, I've got lint in my belly button.
Disgusting! Keep your vulgarities to yourself.
Ouch! With a glare, he karate chopped me on the head. Sorry, it just slipped out. As I clutched my head, Gretel put his hands on his hips and shook his head.
Good grief. I wish you wouldn't forget the fact that you're a lady.
Huh? At this, Gretel's expression shifted to an unspoken, oh crap. So I pounced. Sorry, I missed it. Could you repeat that?
Why should I?
Because I didn't hear you the first time.
What's with that little smirk? You're being a creep.
Yep, I'm a creep. Now come on, Moichido! As I pestered him, Gretel finally snapped.
Oh, for God's sake! What I said was, you are technically a woman, so act like it!
Oh, I see. I get it now. Yeah, I'm a girl. I'm a girl, you know. A girl, like me, ought to think before she speaks. He didn't normally acknowledge my gender at all, so it tickled me. In contrast to my amusement, however, Gretel looked furious.
That rock salt. Is that an ingredient in tonight's dinner?
He was very clearly trying to change the subject. Don't worry, little bro, I'll take the bait for you. Yeah, it is.
I'd like to use some too. You don't mind, do you?
Not at all. What are you making this time?
I was thinking of making rock salt ice cream.
But it's winter!
So, I'll be eating it in my room. Ice cream in winter is the ultimate luxury. But I won't ask you to understand. After all, I'm the one who'll be eating it.
I'm glad at least some things are consistent between roots. I want some too! I raised my hand eagerly.
You see, sweets are the perfect stress reliever.
Huh? I didn't know you ever got stressed out.
Keep pushing me and I'm gonna punch you.
He pulled his hand into a fist. But I'm a girl! I raised both hands in surrender. Then, out of nowhere, his expression turned deadly serious. My heart skipped a beat.
Sister, would you like me to explain to you why I called you a dumbass?
Huh? Yeah, sure.
Well, you see...
Hello, other brother.
He's just calling it like he sees it.
Ryoshi! Nice outfit. How come... Why are you boys changing clothes? I'm so confused. You and Wolf are like in more modern clothing now than everybody else. Well, I say everybody else like I've seen a ton of people. But, huh. Okay. Just then, who should cut into the conversation but my lollipop-loving older brother? So you're still my brother! Wait! So Gretel lied to me about being my only brother. Are you trying to protect me from my other brother? Which I can understand. Actually, Gretel and Ryoshi, I would buy as being related. Looking at them. Ugh, trying to get my brain to wrap around all of this.
Here's the lunchbox back.
He set the now empty lunchbox on top of my head. Thanks. I grabbed it and looked up at him. What are you doing here?
It's my house too, you know.
I mean, yeah, but you never come over. Supposedly our house was too far from his workplace, so Ryoshi rented his own place to save on commute time.
Well, Mom and Dad asked me to stop by every now and then to check on you too.
There's nothing to check. We're fine.
Speak for yourself.
He smacked me over the head. Then he pulled a lollipop out of his mouth and looked at Gretel, who had yet to say a word.
Welcome home, Mr. Hunter.
Gretel never addressed my brother by name, only his title, which I didn't do in Red's route.
Thanks. How's school? Going well. No issues at present. So it seems.
End of conversation. Hastily, I cut in to break up the awkward tension. Ryoshi, why don't you spend the night tonight? We can have whatever you want for dinner.
What are you talking about? Just make whatever you were already planning to make. I'll be going now. Got some studying to do.
And with that, Gretel left the room as though he couldn't bear to stay there a single moment longer. Hey, wait!
Hold it.
Before I could chase after him, however, Ryoshi stopped me. What?
I can see you two are getting along, but you shouldn't let your guard down completely.
Excuse me? I responded in a flat, icy voice. He was talking about Gretel as if he was some dangerous criminal. Ryoshi narrowed his eyes and pointed his lollipop in my face.
You, Mom, and Dad all seem to trust him, but I don't. He's not your real little brother. Got it?
If that's true, I will be thrilled.